People say all the time to me that they'd rather die than give up their meat. And the sad thing is that's just what's happening. They're dying. They're dying as a result of overnutrition, as a result of getting too much fat, animal protein, and cholesterol. Now, you've probably heard that we need cholesterol, and we certainly do, but the human body is very efficient. It can manufacture all the cholesterol that we need for vitamin D, for sex hormones, but it has a limited ability to get rid of cholesterol. And when we take and eat cholesterol on our dinner plate, what happens is we overload the system and it can't get rid of it. As a result, it deposits it. It deposits it in our tissues, in our skin, in our tendons, and most troublesome in our arteries, and it rots the arteries, like the arteries to the heart, the arteries to the brain, and we get heart attacks and stroke. Now, I realize giving up meat is difficult. People tell me that all the time, and I used to be a very heavy meat eater. I remember my first vegetarian meal. It was 32 years ago. We got invited over to some friend's house for a vegetarian dinner. It was a grain dish. They had a Caesar salad and a pecan pie. And it was very tasty. I enjoyed it. But there was something missing. I didn't have that big lump of flesh, that chicken or that turkey or that beef in my stomach. And I was unsatisfied because it wasn't what I was used to. And so I could hardly wait to get home. I went into the kitchen, I opened the bottom drawer of the refrigerator, I pulled out that sliced turkey, and I made myself a Dagwood sandwich just so I could live till the next day. So that's where I came from. But I want to tell you, things change, and they change very rapidly. You'll find the kind of meal plan that I recommend very satisfying, and you won't miss that meat once you take the trouble to learn delicious foods that are based upon starches, vegetables, and fruits. And plus you get good health, and that's what it's really all about. Happy days, it's Bean Burrito time.
It's Bean Burrito Day.
That's my favorite.
No, this is one recipe I don't even need a recipe for because I make it so often. My family absolutely loves bean burritos. And the best way to do it, and the easiest, is to get out your old slow cooker, called a crock pot sometimes, and this is how you make the beans. You start out with dried pinto beans.
Do you look for little rocks in them first?
Well, you do look for little rocks first. That's always a good idea, because even though they say they're triple washed, sometimes you find a little stone in there, and you don't want to bite into one of those. So you pour the beans into a dry, empty, slow cooker, add water, and depending on how many beans you use, see how much water you need. Usually I like to go about 2 inches above the beans with the water, just to make sure that they don't dry out when you're not watching them. Add 1 chopped onion, real simple. A few cloves of whole garlic, just peeled. Put the lid on, turn it on, and if you want to cook them overnight, you can cook them on low for about 12 to 14 hours. If you put them on in the morning, it'll take about 6 hours on high. Real simple. When you finish, this is what they look like. You didn't have to do anything except start them in the morning or the night before, and that's it. Now, we like our beans mashed a little bit, so you get your bean masher out.
You know, most people think of Mexican food, and they think of carne and pollo and queso. But, you know, our Mexican food is really delicious, and we leave those animal products out. We leave out the cholesterol, the fat, and it's a favorite around our house. And people ought to think also in terms of when they go out to a Mexican restaurant. You can get whole beans just like that in almost any Mexican restaurant in town, and you can add simple, healthy vegetable ingredients, just like we're doing here when you go out to eat. So carry this lesson for your eating out experience.
Now, we like our tortillas softened just a little bit, so you put your griddle on the stove, turn the heat on to medium-high, take a tortilla, a nice whole wheat tortilla, throw it on the pan, and carefully flip it over a couple of times until it gets nice and soft. You can eliminate this step if you don't want to do it, but we like ours a little soft, and it's real easy to do. But you don't want to let them on there too long, because then they tend to get kind of crispy. So you have to get it just right.
That little trick we learned from your father-in-law, or my father-in-law, your dad.
Yeah, my dad. That's right. He did that for forever.
Yep.
Okay, and then after that, put the tortilla on a plate. Take some of these delicious beans, and put them down the center of the tortilla.
I suppose you could also make a naked burrito out of that, couldn't you?
But
You know, those people-
you could just serve it over rice.
Right, you
don't
serve it
have to
over
have
rice
a
just on a
tortilla.
plate. You can skip the tortilla. How about a corn tortilla?
Corn tortilla would also work. I like corn tortillas. Add some toppings like tomatoes and some green onions. A little bit of lettuce. And we also like alfalfa sprouts on our burritos. We've been doing this for years, and our whole family puts a little alfalfa sprouts on top of their burritos. I know it's not really traditionally Mexican, but we like it. And then some salsa. Spice it up.
That's really where you determine what the burrito's all about, is the salsa
What
you
kind
put
of
on.
salsa you use.
Yeah,
that's
how hot
right.
you make it, Tabasco sauce, some of those, really, really spicy Mexican sauces will change the whole flavor of that burrito.
And then roll it up. I guess I made it a little large.
Well, I like it a little large. And I can eat 2 of these without even thinking about it. This is my favorite meal. Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
And it also is great with leftovers, these things.
Yes,
We have
yes.
these, lunchtime the next day, a couple days later for
Real
dinner.
easy to
Really,
reheat.
really
Real
simple.
easy to reheat.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you. Great burrito.